What's going on, Jeromes? Happy Monday out there, everyone, everywhere. Daily Jeromes live stream coming at you Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. Central Time-ish. Getting started a couple minutes early today. It be what it be. Thanks for coming along, making us part of your day. We got a bunch of Q&A, and we're talking Vikings, talking draft, talking free agency, all the good stuff. Jake Lagovin, anything special planned for the one-year anniversary of the Daily Jeromes podcast? It's been a year. Some of you started to give us Jerome some relief each day. All the craziness happened in the world turned into a daily ritual for many others. Thanks for returning and keeping it up. Hey, thank you for coming along. Oh, yeah. I guess we did start it during the whole pandemic thing. And then it just turned into a thing. No. Chris Danny Hansen, do you think GMs and coaches look at mock drafts to see how things might roll out, or do they ignore them at all costs? I mean, the dumb ones probably do. I think the GMs... they do their internal mock drafts, especially teams that are in the top 10, top 15. They project, generally where players are going to go for what team, what scenario, potentially trade-up situations. There's a lot of contingency plans put into place before the draft. Especially if you're in a spot where if the right player is on board, you could trade out. A lot of times teams will have already pre-negotiated, be like, hey, if player X is here, will you give us X, Y, Z? And then they'll get on the horn and they'll, in the event that does happen. So I'm sure they glance at them, but they probably don't put too much stock in them. Like they don't look at Mel Kiper or one of the PFF mocks or whatever and be like, that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, there are a couple of mock drafts where the people are really dialed in, where it's a combination of player evaluation as well as what they hear from around the league. They have really good sources. Dr. Z, Paul Zimmerman, his mock draft for Sports Illustrated was always regarded as one of the best. Bob McGinn of the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, I want to say, Packers writer, either way. He's always really buttoned up and has a very high hit rate when it comes to first round picks. I believe he does trades too, so that's really impressive. Pulford Skull, did you hear this week being referred to as the massacre? Yeah, it's gonna be bloody, man. All right, so yeah, we got things open, just trying to see like who gets axed. I want to see it. Brandon Brooks, come on down, baby. I want to get in the Brooks Brothers business. Schefter and others said that there's going to be a lot of surprise cuts and a lot altogether. Name 5 surprise cuts that can happen across the league. Brandon Brooks, David DeCastro from the Giants. All right, the Steelers. What am I thinking of, Giants? Who are the Giants going to... Oh, Zeitler. Well, that one's not too surprising. Basically, I've just been looking at the guards very covetously. Like Andrew Norwell from the Jaguars. He got massively overpaid, but... I'll definitely take him. Plus, remember, signing cut players does not factor into compensatory picks. And the Vikings, pending what happens with Harris and Wilson, could be in line for some nice next year. Stephon Gilmore. If they can't trade him, they might just cut him, especially since he's coming off the ACL. That's crazy. Ethan Griffin. Will Ezra ever request a trade if they keep him strictly at guard? We've seen other young players start to request trades if they don't like how they're being used. Well, reading between the lines of his interviews during the season last year, he wasn't thrilled about the guard move. But if he holds his own, develops an anchor, and becomes really an asset inside, maybe he'll change his tune. But the pay between left tackle and guard, it's a big gap. So maybe not jonesing for a trade, but maybe not inclined to re-sign with the Vikings if they just stick him at guard. Andy Shong. There's been a lot of talk about Russ being traded to the Bears. What's the likelihood of him going there or anywhere? So he does have a no-trade clause. Ostensibly, you think he would waive it for the Bears, but I know people are making too much of, well, Russ's brother lives in Chicago. Obviously, he'll want to go to Chicago. Like the offseason doesn't exist. Like private jets don't exist. And well, him and Sierra, they have a lot of business opportunities in Chicago. Like, who goes to Chicago for business? Like, what can you do in Chicago that you can't do in Seattle? Like, this is not 1985. Like, this isn't, people act like the internet doesn't exist. Like, telecommunication doesn't exist, right? You don't have to be in the largest markets to secure your marketing or growing your brand. You don't need to do that. Plus, Chicago, It's got a worse O-line than Seattle. It's got a worse head coach who's probably going to be fired. It's got a worse GM who's probably going to be fired. And bringing on your contract is probably going to make them lose Allen Robinson. So you're going to lose weapons. Plus, it'll cost them 3 first-round picks. So the specter of bringing in help is diminished there. I don't get it. Unless he has some sort of savior complex, I can resurrect the Bears, which I have my doubts. I like Russ a lot, but I don't think that even he can pull through in that Herculean effort to get Chicago. But they made the playoffs last year. That was a fluke. And you know it. Plus, so think of the players that had the most media exposure this year. Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, and probably Baker Mayfield, right? Those are 3 of the smallest markets in the league. Whereas you look at the quarterbacks in the big markets. So Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold, Mitchell Trubisky Ponder, Jared Goff, like those are the guys. Do you see them like hammering major marketing deals? Do you see them in the commercials? No, you don't. So I think that notion it's wash. I think that's like, oh, well, this makes sense. It doesn't. That being said, maybe he just goes to Chicago to be bad. Well, if he goes to the Bears, like he can't bitch about not winning a second ring ever. Jake Lagovin, ever thought about creating side videos on stonks? I like some of your insights you post on the gram. Nah. So that's part of my day job, but I don't really feel like making content about it because. So you think that there is a lot of subjectivity when it comes to like players in the draft or free agency and the blowback that gets. I mean, just imagine picking stocks. Right? It's like being a weatherman. Little known perfection. Is Harrison Hand on your watch list for being the Vikings most improved player next year for you? Yes. If he gets opportunity to play significant snaps, I think that he has a shot. He's got the length. I do like the tenacity that he plays with. And whenever 38 was on the field last year, good things happened, both in special teams as well as the very few snaps he was allowed to play on defense. And I think that there is a world where it's Hand and Dancer on the outside and Gladney on the interior. I think it could happen. Pulford Skull, what are your thoughts on the 4th and 15 rule as opposed to onside kick? Yes, do it. Thoughts on Scott Cam? I'm good with that. We're seeing work XFL. Yeah, do all 22. I don't understand why the NFL doesn't offer like a streaming version of every game, and maybe they will bring it in with Amazon because they ran multiple streams and multiple announcers, but do an all 22 view or the Madden view of the game. Like film junkies will love it unless they're trying to protect NFL Game Pass, which whatever. Or there's too much information. The average fan can't handle it. You have no idea what the average fan is capable of. We're a lot smarter than you think. So yeah, do that. Michael Lewis, if Hunter forces his way out before the draft, could you see the front office caving, trade Kirk, and start a rebuild with all the draft capital? No. I could see them using the capital from the Daniil trade to maneuver to get a quarterback to sit behind Kirk. But then that opens up its own can of worms next year. It's like, do you start the quarterback? Do you try and trade Kirk in his $35 million base salary? What do you do? Rohit Anapati, do you think the online combine will have any huge effect on draft player stocks? Well, I think combine-wise, there are going to be some dudes to blow up. I think Kwity Paye, Bateman did himself some big favors with this 40 time. Darisaw, Jason Owe. So Jason Owe, you rarely see Owe above like the 25th pick in a lot of mock drafts. If he blows things up, which I think that he will, you'll see him in the teens. Like Seth Galina already mocked Owe to the Vikings at 14. We just talked about that in the recent video. I think some guys' draft stocks are like Eric Stokes when he ran that sub 4.40 at the House of Athlete Combine over the weekend. Yeah, it's going to help him out a lot. Andrew Hansen, if the Vikings can't restructure Reef, what would an extension look like for him? I think throwing out, say, 2 years, $10 million per year, small signing bonus, 2022 not guaranteed, essentially a team option. I think that would be intriguing to him because he wouldn't have to change schemes. He wouldn't have to change towns. He wouldn't have to change locker rooms. Plus, he has some guaranteed money. Yeah, I think that would make sense. Jacob Ward, Plus, the Vikings can shave off some on the cap this year. With Stephon Diggs going out of Minnesota last year, Everson saying Zimmer didn't want Kirk, and the Hunter saga now, do you think Kirk is responsible at all? He shares some of the blame. And it might not be malicious on his part. I mean, he seems like a perfectly likable guy, so it might not even be personality. It might just strictly be his contract. It might all be business, where his money ostensibly disallows some other money going somewhere else, given that it's a finite pie with a salary cap. Plus, I mean, stylistically, I mean, Diggs wanting more balls. What wide receiver doesn't want more balls coming his way? So, it might not just. I don't think any of it is like Kirk Cousins, a douchebag. I don't think any of it is that. Plus, you learn to work with douchebags. There's tons of douchebags in the league. There's tons of douchebags in every single walk of life, but you still work with them because you can get it done. So I think that if there is any animosity towards Kirk, it's all because of business. R-Free. If the Bears do, and also I don't think Zimmer wanted Kirk at the time because he still wanted Teddy. If the Bears do end up with Watson, realistically, will his next 5 years be any better than it was in Houston with all the Bears have to give up? No. I mean, same reasons why the cupboard will be bare with Russ. It will be bare with Watson. And that's the downside of Watson being traded, is because his new team is going to have to give up a ton of value to get him. Harvey Melber, you think it's possible we can flip Barr, a third, and a six to Team Miami for 36? Probably not that high. Well, with the third in there, maybe. Double B88. What do you personally feel is Cousins' biggest strength as a quarterback? What is his greatest weakness? Strength. He throws one of the best deep balls in the league. He really does. Where it deep, accurate. When he has time and can step into his throws, he can drop some serious dimes. Weaknesses. I think he gets inside his own head too much. You can see the self-doubt, the self-confidence really creep into his body language. Also, there's too many times where he just tries to make a play when it's not there and forcing things. And a lot of his problems is when he tries to play hero ball. He's like, I could probably make this throw when he cannot. It ends up in triple coverage and intercepted. Jacob Ward. Also pocket awareness, even though it got better to a degree last year. Jacob Ward. If you could have a beer of 30 with one current Vikings coach, player, and coach, who would it be? Player? There's no one that seems like uber fun, like Jared Allen, even though Jared gave up drinking a number of years ago. But it'd be fun to have some lemonade with Jared Allen. No one stands out. Everyone's pretty chill. I guess Michael Pierce would be funny. Michael Pierce would be fun. Player, or coach. I guess Zimmer would be good. Crack a bottle of wine. Believe he likes Spanish Reds. I feel like Zimmer's a super wise dude. Either that or McCardle. McCardle seems like a lot of fun, man. Yeah. Talk to him about the back in the day. Him and Jimmy Smith. Was Jimmy Smith showing signs of problems back then? You know? Michael Merchant Rebels. What was Mark Brunell like? What was it like playing with a left-handed quarterback who ran? Do you think Tony Baselli would be a Hall of Famer? Well, he would be a Hall of Famer if he stayed healthy. How do you do a free agency at 7-round mock draft together? Fan speak. Next up, Nitro Remix 316. Should the Vikings be in on the Brandon Brooks trade business? No, but we'll just wait until he's cut. There's a lot of players that are like, hey, he's open to be traded. Best of luck. You're going to trade his ass, or you're going to cut his ass. Rohit Anupati. Realistically, how low do you think the Vikings can trade down and still get Barr more, taking into account the other teams need to tackle? Probably 25. 25 Jaguars. I think that's as low as they can go. They have to stay ahead of them. Rob E. Ben Cleveland, 6'6", 354, right guard, should be available. We pick in third round. The Ben Ezra show. Thoughts on the Cleveland shipment? I really like Ben Cleveland. He is a tough dude. He's an alpha. He plays a great balance. Plus, he wears that 350 extremely well. Like, he's a taller, longer guy. So, yeah, there's a difference between, like, David Moore 350, and Ben Cleveland 350. Right, so Ben Cleveland is just a tough, stout dude. And then there's I'm in. Chase Pearson. When will the Vikings win the Super Bowl? February 7th, 2022. Zero goes up 44. If we drafted Lamar Jackson instead of Mike Hughes, how do you think our last 2 seasons would have gone? Super Bowl. Yeah. Plus, you think that Zimmer would be more inclined to have a running quarterback because he knows what running quarterbacks do to his defenses. It's like how Buddy Ryan loved Randall Cunningham because he knew what Randall Cunningham could do to defenses. MIT 03. Who is going to get more yards next year? Dalvin just rushing or Jefferson? I think Jefferson. I think Dalvin will be about 1,600 rushing yards, 2,100 total yards. And Jefferson's going to have 1,800. Woo. So fresh and so clean. Liberal tears. Aussies are telling me that Australian football league is more difficult because they don't play with equipment. I think they're dead wrong. What's your take? More difficult in what sense? In terms of the skills needed? Because I don't know Aussie rules football athletes, but I'll take DK Metcalf. I will take Jarvis Landry. I will take Danielle Hunter. I will take I'll take all these guys in the national. I'll take OBJ in the National Football League over these guys. Where it's like, what if all American athletes played soccer? Like, I will take LeBron James in goal as goalie. I'll take, Mike Trout would be really good. Yeah, I'll take Mike. Actually, Mike Trout would be a great box safety. Can you imagine that? Yeah, Mike Trout, OBJ, Tyreek Hill. Yeah, America would crush in soccer. But skill in terms of tackling, I actually think that has some credence. Where if you look at tackling in Aussie rules football or rugby, they have to be more technically sound because they don't have the pads, right? So you can't just throw. You can't lead with the helmet anymore, except guys still do. But you can't just throw a shoulder out there and bring someone down. Like, you have to wrap up and you have to physically bring someone to the ground. And it's actually, you see this with youth football now, is that they will wear like the rugby, like soft helmets. And it'd actually be interesting. Like, if they took away face masks, the technical aspects of tackling in American football would grow exponentially. Where, you can't lead with your face, so you actually have to you look at what you're tackling. You have to have your head off to a side. You actually have to put your shoulder in, and you actually have to wrap and then bring the ball carrier down. You can't just launch yourself, right? So in that regard, yes, but overall, no. The NFL cast. Are the Vikings going to sign Alex Smith? I would love to bring him in on the cheap. Yes. Griffin career. Cosme or Leatherwood at pick 22. Given the Vikings stylistically, they'll probably go Cosme, and I'm leaning more towards that way. I'm kind of cooling on Leatherwood. I did a little bit more film work, and I like him. I don't love him. Whereas Cosme, his athletic upside is absolutely through the roof. Like, he really is the Ezra Cleveland and Brian O'Neill of this draft. He is. Plus, a tough kid. I like him. R3, do you feel like we're living in the movie Idiocracy? It's a great movie. Mike Judge, the guy who did Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill. It's a really good movie. It's got, I was confused. Luke Wilson and Owen Wilson. It's Luke Wilson. Yeah, Luke Wilson, Terry Crews, and he's the president. Camacho. Yeah, it's good. The premise is, I believe he's an astronaut. He falls asleep and he finds himself 500 years in the future, and everyone is stupid. So he's just an average dude. He wakes up. He's the smartest man alive. It's just great. It's a good movie. Let us know where we're watching from. We'll give a couple shout-outs. Derek Baker. Who will show the Vikings franchise tag? No one. Nah. Hunter's not a free agent. Harris, maybe they can tag and trade him. I wouldn't chance it, though. Chris Danny Hansen, 2016 NFL.com redraft. They had the Vikings taking Thuney instead of Treadwell. Yeah, I'll take it. Because Thuney was a third-round pick out of NC State? Rohit Anupati. Which players available for us at 78 do you think could be day one starters? there's a lot of positions like defensive line, cornerback, wide receiver that, I mean, they aren't starters, but could be key contributors, like playing 500, 600 snaps in the rookie year. But Aleem McNeil, Marvin Wilson, defensive tackles, Jalen Twyman. Well, Twyman probably have a reduced role since you don't really care for him against the run. Trey Smith, the guard from Tennessee. Ben Cleveland could start right away. Now, offensive linemen, obviously, if they start, they start, right? You don't rotate them out. Dwayne Eskridge, the wide receiver from Western Michigan, maybe makes it to 78. There's a lot of really good wide receivers, like maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown from USC. Maybe he gets there. Diami Brown, Daz Newsome, both from UNC. There's a lot of really good wide receivers in this draft, man. Safety-wise, Ardarius would be in that mix. Gillespie from Mizzou. Bledsoe from Mizzou. Hufanga from USC. Patrick Jones. Yeah, the edge rusher from Pittsburgh. He's got really good size, too. So you could put him at left defensive end, and maybe the Vikings move Daniil to right defensive end, the blind side. So there's a plethora of players that will contribute / start at 78, but man, there's going to be a lot of talent being bled off the board in the second round. So here are a couple shoutouts. Astros Sports, St. Cloud, what up? Purple Rain, Wassaw, Wisconsin. Jabrisky, Trempolo, what's going on? Tony Salamonski, Chicago, what up? Hunter Williams, Savage, go Twins. Oh, yeah, spring train's going on. Good times. Juan Bones Jones, it's a good handle. Thoughts on UFC 259? Well, Amanda Nunes is the GOAT, female MMA fighter of all time. Megan Anderson is a bad chick, by the way. Like, she's tough, and Amanda walked through her like nothing. I know everyone goes Ronda, but no, Amanda is just the destroyer of worlds. She really is. See here. Oh, Blackowitz. So that was my concern about Israel going up in weight class, is that, I mean, Blackowitz just controlled him. I actually don't think it was even that close as the scorecards put out there. But yeah, Israel, this is why the John Bones Jones and Adesanya fight was never going to happen, is that it would just be so one-sided because weight does matter. And Adesanya is a big middleweight, but as a light heavyweight, like, he just didn't have enough pop. It's like going after a tank, with a Springfield rifle. That's just what it is. And yeah, I mean, if Adesanya took some more time, put on some more muscle, maybe. It's like John going up to heavyweight. I'm still concerned. I'm still very concerned about John Bones Jones, but I still like Stylebender, and I understand the allure of trying to become champ. But yeah, it wasn't even close. Also, it's cool to see Dominic Cruz get a W. He had lost his last 2 fights, I believe. But yeah, maybe this is a note to go out on. I think he's a phenomenal commentator. So yeah, just want to get one more win under the belt and then move on. And then, the Bantam, the illegal knee, where it's always tough. And you do see times where players will sort of keep a knee down, just trying to draw that knee. I'm not saying that's what he was planning on doing, but yeah, it was such a bang spot. Like, it wasn't completely blatant. It wasn't like that. But also respect the guy. The name escapes him, but him leaving the belt on the octagon, because that's not how you want to become champion, through a DQ. Nah, so they'll probably run that one back. Ben Bauman. Did you see Coming to America? Thoughts? I thought it was amazing. So I'm a big fan of the first Coming to America movie. It's probably in my top 12 favorite of all-time movies. Also love Trading Places, by the way. But sequels can be tricky, especially after such a layoff, where there has to be enough references to the first movie for fan service, but also you have to have a coherent plot. But I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really good. I thought there was enough Easter eggs and references to the first movie where everyone's like, yeah. Cameos, tons of them. Plus, I thought the storyline could be decent standalone. So that's always important with sequels, where it wasn't overly reliant on the first movie. I thought Leslie Jones was good. I'm not always like on board of Leslie Jones, but I thought she was really good in this movie. I thought the son looked more like. I had to look it up because I thought that the prince looked a lot like Chris Tucker. I was like, is that Chris Tucker's kid? But apparently it's not. But yeah, it was good. It was good. It sort of reminds me. So is Bad Boys 2 is up there with Godfather 2 in terms of the best sequels, building upon a really solid first movie. Bad Boys, good movie. Bad Boys 2, phenomenal. Bad Boys 3 or Bad Boys for Life. They should have saved Bad Boys for Life for the fourth movie, by the way, but that's neither here nor there. I didn't think Bad Boys 3 was that good. Nah. They fell prey to a lot of the pitfalls of sequels where you're overly reliant on referring to previous movies, and it's just nah. But yeah, Coming to America was really good. Brian Hahn, could Mahomes win a Super Bowl, or are we still cursed? Yes, he could. Miles, I'm gonna be so sad if Daniil gets traded. We'll just have to dry our tears with the multiple first round picks that we get. What do you think the outcome will be? Also, why did he delete his Vikings pictures off Instagram except for the Pro Bowl ones? I don't know. That's just posturing. It's a lot like liking, liking tweets about trades. So yeah, he's playing the game. Diggs laid the blueprint, and like we said, you can hate how Diggs got out of town, but it worked, and he got his way. So I think cooler heads will prevail. I think the Vikings will extend him. I think we'll be fine. Go for Trey Lance or Parsons. I will Trey Lance. Yeah, QB. Siona Gona. Thoughts on Davion Nixon? I like him. He's a decently well-rounded defensive tackle. I could improve a little bit against the run, but I do like that he is fiery. I like that he gets after it with that first step. I'm not going to be shied away by an Iowa defensive tackle just because Jaleel Johnson didn't work out. They're two completely different players. Former JUCO transfer, but yeah, I do like Nixon. He's going to go in a weird spot, though. Like 14 is way too high for him. If they trade down, I don't know if he's going to be a first-round pick, but I think that he is going to be a solid second-round pick. Maybe top 60. Like, he could go the entire gamut. I don't think he'll be there at 78, though. Miles. If Spielman thinks trading Danielle Hunter or Smith will end like Diggs and JJ swap out, they are wishfully thinking. Yeah. Thomas DeHickey. What was your worst pre-draft take or opinion from last year? That Justin Jefferson can't play on the outside and would struggle to get off press. Conversely, what prediction were you the most right about last year? That Justin Jefferson was good? No. I see. Take from last year. Well, I had my doubts about Kinlaw. Oh, I guess whiff. So I was really big on the Jeff Okudah train as well as Andrew Thomas, but yeah, those rookie years not so much. Most right about. Thought Wirfs was a bad mofo. Thought that Wills could easily move from right tackle at Alabama to left tackle for the Browns. That one panned out. Let's see what else. Oh, let's look at the draft. Let's see. Burrow. I thought Tua was going to be better than he was in spot duty. I liked Herbert. I didn't love him. Knew that Derek Brown was going to be good. Thought that Simmons would have been better, except the Cardinals are just trying to put him in a box as opposed to just letting him be that sub-package beast. Let's see, Henderson's going to be... Oh, I had a lot of worries about Becton, mainly because, yes, physical freak, but, putting him at left tackle on the Jets... Yeah, his Louisville tape wasn't anything to write home about, but proven wrong. I had a phenomenal rookie year, man. Was a stud. Was right about Ruggs. Was wrong about Judy, except a lot more of that was like, okay, well, Judy didn't have Sutton on the outside to draw attention. Plus, Drew Lock was all over the place this year. CD was a stud. I didn't think that CD was worth trading up. I was incorrect with the Vikings trade up. It would have been fine. Let's see here. It's pretty bullish on, I was bullish on Rieger and Ayuk injuries sort of hampered their rookie years. It's right in Igbenegene. Like, there was nothing that he showed against Tyler Johnson in that bowl game that was like, man. Also, I think that he might have been the worst graded cornerback in the National Football League last year. It's kind of crazy. I liked Higgins. I didn't understand why Higgins wasn't getting as much love as the rest of the draft class, even though ran a slower 40. But, I mean, he is a quarterback's best friend, man. The huge catch radius, even when he's covered, he's open. I like that. Let's see what else here. It's pretty cool on Yetter Meadows and Epinesa, but that might just be my disdain for them constantly being mocked for the Vikings. I knew that Winfield was going to be good, just not that good right away. Oh, I love Jalen Johnson, man. Like, my top 2 cornerbacks besides Okudah were Jalen Johnson and who else was I really in on? It might have been Henderson. Yeah, I think it was Henderson. But I just love Jalen Johnson. But his shoulder issues are coming home to roost, which is unfortunate. Let's see what else here. I loved Ezra in the draft process. I really liked Jeremy Chin. I didn't think that he would blow up as quickly as he did. I liked Ashton Davis a lot, but he was really dinged by no medicals during the Rona draft process. I really liked Matabuke. I didn't really get a chance to show off what he can do his rookie year. I liked Hamilton a lot as a nose tackle. That's enough. All right, next up. Husker, chances on Barr being restructured or traded. I think it's more likely that he's just cut as opposed to traded. I don't think you're going to get anyone to take on that contract in this economy. But restructure, he says he's not open, but, I mean, the specter of getting cut, I mean, that changes your tune a lot. I think that he is back on a pay cut or reduction in base salary that can be clawed back in incentives. Ezekiel Lockhart. Playing Call of Duty, Warzone, Modern Warfare, totally addicted. You have a favorite rifle? Mine is Galileas. I haven't played Call of Duty in a long time. I just like the M4. Old school. Number 2. Why do you hate hockey so much? I grew up in the corner of the state that doesn't care about hockey. Number 3, blue taxes on new truck, Chevy Tahoe. Sweet. Bob to Bob. Is Shamar Stephen good against the run? No, he's not. KC Wall. Who is your top player at each position in the draft, excluding kickers and punters? Quarterback. Lawrence. Running back. I get people love Harris. I like him too. Just Etienne just slaps different for me. Wide receiver, Chase. Tight end, Pitts. Left tackle, Penne. Left guard, AVT. Center, Dickerson. Right guard. Specifically right guard. It's Trey Smith. You know, he played some left guard too. I know he played more left guard, didn't he? I guess right guard, Ben Cleveland. Right tackle, Tevin Jenkins. Or could go Mayfield. Go Tevin Jenkins. Edge rusher. Well, it depends. Blindside edge rusher, hand in the dirt, 4-3 defensive end. I'll take Kwity Paye. Stand up outside linebacker or situational 4-3 edge rusher. I'll take Aziz. Hand in the dirt left defensive end. I'll take Carlos Basham, Boogie. 3 tech. I'll take Barmore. Nose tackle, Shelvin. Off ball linebacker. Off ball outside linebacker, Parsons. Mike linebacker. Probably Bolton, except I'll just play Zaven Collins there. Outside corner, Farley. Slot corner, Asante Samuel Jr. Free safety, Morig. Strong safety, Richie Grant. Yeah, covers all the bases. Samuel Arke. Who do you think will be a surprise cut? Barr, if that's a surprise. I don't think it's that big of a surprise. Miles. What does Barr do on defense that we don't see? Well, getting him lined up, having the green dot, calling defensive plays. That certainly does have value. He's solid against the run. Like, he doesn't make the splash plays. Like, he is usually always the second guy to the ball. Like, he doesn't generate a lot of sacks. He does bring heat on third down. But, yeah, he does a lot of the dirty work. He does a lot of the sludge work, which is underrated and does have value, but not $12.3 million per year in value. Nate H. Have you seen Mac Jones' DUI in 2017? I have not. Next up. Amit Mather. What's the minimum for trading Kirk? Number 9 overall. Yeah, you're not going to get a massive haul, given his contract, given his age. You're not going to get the Matthew Stafford return either, because you're not taking on a contract like Jared Goff. But I would trade Kirk for number 9 overall, and then package 9 and 14 to go get your guy. Sam Salinger Skull. Do you think we should retire number 82? No. Sam Salinger Skull. Do you think Rudy's the best tight end in Vikings history? I still think Steve Jordan is a better all-around tight end. I think he was a better blocker. I think he was a better between the 20s true receiving tight end. But yeah, Rudy was a bad mofo in the red zone for sure. Although I hate to see Rudy rock as right to cut him. Do you agree? Yes. I'm just kind of like zero skull. Ruby missed deeply. Indeed. The Dark Knight. Favorite football moment of all time? Well, the Minneapolis Miracle is a given, so we'll take that one off the table. It might be the 2008 Super Bowl where Big Ben hit Santonio Holmes in the back corner of the end zone. I mean, the Cardinals should have won the Super Bowl. They like Larry Fitzgerald should be Super Bowl MVP and have a ring. Except Big Ben, that throw, that catch, onions. Plus, I'd bet the Steelers. So it was important for me. Also the helmet catch. So the year before that, the Giants, David Tyree. I remember watching that live. I was like, what the hell just happened? Also, so that was, for some reason, KFC never did wings. But 2007, they started doing wings. Because I remember, because I was still in college, and a bunch of us got together, had some beers, and we got like 10 buckets of those wings. And they were really good. Like, I don't understand why KFC didn't do wings before, but favorite UFC fighter? Probably either Silva or GSP. Yeah, I like them because I like their style. I like that they come from a martial arts background. They respect the game. But it's hard not to like McGregor just because of the showman. I mean, yeah, he's a putz. Yeah, he's probably quasi-racist, but it's fun to watch him. Also, like Brock Lesnar. Like again, going back. So there's martial artists and there's fighters. Brock Lesnar is a fighter. Where, I mean, yeah, he's got the ground game, except he doesn't even wrestle that much. Like, wrestling was not a big part of his MMA game. His game was getting you on the ground and then beating you with those canned hams as fists. That's what he would do. He's just such an anomaly. And you can have that in the heavyweight division, right? Where there's a lot of heavyweights who are not very good on the ground. Like, they want to stand and trade, or they want to knock you down and just pummel you. I would love to see, get USADA out of the way. Like, I want to see Brock Lesnar versus Ngannou. Or hell, even just Brock Lesnar versus Derek Lewis. I think that would be a hell of a lot of fun. Although it might be a letdown like Ngannou, Derek Lewis. But just let two brawlers go at it. Why not? Actually, I will say Brock Lesnar, because Brock Lesnar is such an entertaining dude. Like, accomplished athlete, former Viking legend, of course. Who else was a Viking? Oh, Matt Mitrone, was a Viking too. So there you go. But so after he beat Frank Mir in that rematch, beat the brakes off of Frank Mir, just got him on the ground and just continually punched Frank Mir in the face. Because Mir in the first fight, I believe, got him in a leg lock, right? I want to say that's right. But in the post-fight interview, when Rogan sticks that mic in his face and Lesnar just lets the WWE side of him come out, I love it. I love the haters. Woo! Frank Mir's been running his mouth. I shut that son of a bitch up. I'm going to go home. I'm going to celebrate. And maybe I'll even have sex with my wife or something. Woo! God, it was so good. Brock Lesnar's great, man. I love it. I changed my mind. GSP, Spider, you're cool. But, yeah. Lesnar, you're the best. Wasn't one question you've never been asked that you wish someone would ask in one of your live streams? I don't know. There's a lot of questions. I'm good. Rob E. Should we swap first with the Ravens for Orlando Brown? All right, so 14 to 27. I don't know if they would go for that. I don't know if that would be enough. But yes, I would be in for Orlando Brown. Miles, yeah, no, Daniil ain't going anywhere. So we explained the yeah, no, and no, yeah. It's always the last word, which is the intention. So yeah, I hope Daniil Hunter does not go anywhere. So that's it. That is the Daily Jeromes live stream. Thank you very much for coming along. You guys are the best. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Skol.